It's time for the Unnamed SWTOR Podcast, a podcast so good it doesn't need a name. So without any further ado, here's your host, JD. Take it away, Johnny.
Hello, my friends, and welcome to episode 38 of the Unnamed SWTOR Podcast, recorded on March 25th, 2014. I'm your host, JD, aka Galactic, and today's episode is a jam-packed one. After last week's excuse for an episode, not much to talk about there. This week we have so much to go over that I'm going to spread it out over a couple episodes, all the juicy information that we got this week. We had housing announcement, the announcement of the Galactic Strongholds expansion. Wow. I don't know about you guys, but that kind of came out of nowhere for me. And we had a litany of PvP questions answered by the developers, which we'll be discussing in the second segment. Doesn't it always seem that when I do an episode where I say there's not much to talk about, and I'm going to be scrounging around for ideas for next week, they always announce something. Maybe I should do that more often. We'd get more stuff released more quickly. Well, with all that being said, let's force leap right in.
Red 2, I've got a topic coming in hot, requesting clearance to engage.
Lock as foils and attack positions. You are cleared to discuss. The biggest news this week, obviously, was the announcement of the next digital expansion. This is the expansion that will be on the scale of Galactic Starfighter, which is a lot to live up to, if you ask me. Galactic Starfighter has been one of the highlights of the game so far to me, and I know it's been that way for a lot of other people, so to try and compare Galactic Strongholds, which is the name of the new expansion, to Galactic Starfighter, which has the same initials for some godforsaken reason. I don't know why on earth they decided that it was a good idea to have two GS's. You couldn't name it See, I'm an idiot also. If I had named it, I would have named it Galaxy Strongholds, and then we'd be in the same predicament. So, alright, I guess I should stop holding this grudge. But really, it would be awesome if they could change it to like Galactic Housing or something like that. Or even Welcome Home. Welcome Home is a cool name for an expansion. It's also a very good song. Anyway, needless rant over. This looks really awesome and far more than I expected when we saw that teaser trailer during Eric Musco's stream that I discussed a couple weeks back. Let's just read the first sentence here. Welcome home. As the war between the Empire and the Republic rages, the galaxy's greatest heroes have expanded their influence by acquiring. That's an interesting word. I think that's kind of similar to acquiring strongholds, customizable bastions of personal luxury. In a bid for power, these heroes must join together to launch their own guild flagships, and that's the thing that I don't know if anyone expected with this announcement of housing. We're going to be getting guild capital ships finally. That thing that they would never talk about, they're finally talking about it. Customize and expand your strongholds to show off the power of your legacy in a new free-to-play Star Wars The Old Republic Digital Expansion, Galactic Strongholds. So, the other key word in there is legacy. So it looks like these will be legacy housing units that you can have all of your characters across the galaxy hang out in. And the cool thing, and I guess we'll just hop around all over now. The cool thing with that is it seems to suggest that there will be a guild bank system in these Galactic Strongholds. These will be called Legacy Stronghold Storage. You unlock access to a new type of storage that is shared across your entire legacy. So that's really exciting. I know there's a lot of just headaches and annoyance in having to mail things across legacy. I'm assuming this is only going to work for legacy-bound things or unbound items, but still, the annoyance of mailing between characters, logging in, logging out. Oh, who has this? Which character did I send the gray lightsaber to when I was trying to send a color crystal? Who has the Sand People helm or whatever? It's just a minor annoyance that I'm glad I'm seeing they're remedying here with this Galactic Stronghold storage. I think it fits in perfectly. The fact that all the characters in your stronghold happen to share living space, that's kind of cool to me, and maybe it breaks some people's immersion or whatever, but I don't care. Galactic Legacy Storage is a cool idea, and I'm glad they have added it. Alright, so where can you have your Galactic Stronghold? Well, a lot of people assumed Coruscant would be one of them, and Coruscant does seem to be one of them. Dromenkos also seems to be a place where you can live. And then there is also the Nar Shaddaa Sky Palace, which is kind of cool. And when I was thinking about housing, I didn't really think about Nar Shaddaa, but Nar Shaddaa makes sense when you think about it. It's a densely populated area. It's a very popular place to be. So having an apartment in Nar Shaddaa is kind of like having a penthouse apartment in Las Vegas. So that's probably where I'll be spending most of my time. And the fact that it's our Nar Shaddaa just possibly means that we may be seeing some kind of card-playing minigame or some kind of mini-game playing in your apartment. I don't know. That's not confirmed, but that makes sense to me. If you're going to have a house in Nar Shaddaa, why not have a slot machine or a Pazak table or a Sabak table or even a hollow chest table that we looked at 2 weeks ago in the trailer in your apartment? It's the planet of gaming, so why not have games in there? The devs have been very reluctant releasing details in this announcement, so I'm not sure exactly what the scale or scope of the Nar Shaddaa housing will be. Will we be getting minigames or things like that? How in-depth will the legacy bank system be? How customizable will your house be? It's still very much up in the air. And from the time frame, let's talk time frame now, since I am bouncing all over. You will have subscriber early access on June 24th to July 28th. So that's about a little over a month there, which is a lot if you ask me. I don't know, Galactic Starfighter actually was longer, which I think subscriber early access here is a lot different than subscriber early access was for GSF. In GSF, players were actually ranking up their ship, adding components to their ship, and making their ship better than the base ship that someone was going to come in later with. And while the devs said that there would be a screening process, you'd be matched with only players of your level. Your first couple matches would be with like players, things like that. In practice, that really didn't happen. I mean, I guess maybe they're trying to do it, but from what I've seen, it just takes 12 players, matches them up against each other. Doesn't matter what kind of ship they're using or how many upgrades they have. So I think the early access there really striated to the players in a way that I'm not really comfortable with. Now it's probably worked itself out, but I didn't love how long that early access period is. For this is like a pure vanity item for as far as I can tell. There aren't going to be raids on other people's apartments or housing or even guild capital ships. They tore down, or they shot down is probably a more flavorful way to say it, the ability for Galactic Guild PvP, basically for guild ship PvP. Although they did say at the Cantina yesterday that it was on the Wall of Crazy, so that's something interesting. I know player housing has been on the Wall of Crazy for a long time. Maybe this will take its place. So I see this as being less egregious and less possibly harmful to the player base. Subscriber early access here, you'll just be customizing your house and getting it ready for when you want to invite new players over. I'm wondering if the subscriber early access means that only subscribers will have access to your house, or if you'll be able to invite like preferred or free-to-play players to your house, kind of show it off, show them what they're missing, rub it in their face that they're not a subscriber. I don't know, I think that's something that's interesting and maybe a good marketing tool for the expansion. You know, get the free-to-play players and preferred players into other players' houses, show them how awesome it is, and maybe they'll want to subscribe or at least go preferred so they can get access earlier. So that is June 24th to July 28th. Then July 29th to the launch in August, which they don't give a specific launch date to, which is a little weird. They give specific launch dates for the early access and the preferred early access for subscriber and preferred early access. So they give us specific dates for those, but they don't for the official launch, which, you know, if you think about it, if they're unsure about being able to get it done, why would they not say the launch date of August? Unless all of the features that they're discussing are not fully done, but the subscriber early access stuff they know is done and it is locked in and they're ready to go with it, so they can set a specific date for that. But just in case they need to move the August date where they have all the other things coming in, then I think they'll be able to. Although, I don't know. There's an FAQ here which I'm going to read. Question 2 is, what features will be available during early access? Subscribers will be able to procure strongholds on their faction's capital worlds, as well as on Nar Shaddaa, beginning with subscriber early access beginning in June 24th, 2014. Guild flagships and legacy storage will be available to players as part of the official launch of... Okay, so that's what it is. I think they're ready to go with housing. That's in, and maybe gold already, or ready to go, pretty much. They are sure that it'll be ready by June 24th. But guild flagships and legacy storage are still kind of up in the air, so they're still working on that. They don't want to lock in a date for that, is what I would take from them not releasing a specific August release date. So during early access, players will be able to get the Stronghold on Dromkos or Coruscant and on Nar Shaddaa. It says here that you get a Nar Shaddaa Sky Palace Stronghold, which is valued at 250,000 credits. So from the looks of it, you'll be buying your house with credits. I think they've also said that you can buy it with credits or cartel coins, so that's pretty much expected. It also says that you'll be able to buy additional rooms for your stronghold at the same cost of credits or cartel coins, which is pretty cool. I'm wondering exactly how many rooms these houses will have, how big these houses will be. Are they going to be enormous, mansions, sprawling mansions? That would be interesting. I still don't know how they're actually going to get these into the world, like where they're going to be positioned. Are they just going to be at an elevator, basically? That's probably number one guess, is you're going to walk up to an elevator in, like, the Senate Tower or wherever, and you're just going to hit the button and you're going to go up to your house. That's just my guess. Now, you're also going to get the title, the Illustrious, which is a nice title. Definitely use it on my non-rating, non-PvP characters, the ones that don't really have good titles, so the Illustrious is pretty cool. And then finally, very intriguing to me, is the Stronghold Label. Now, this, to me, would suggest that you'll be able to see other players' strongholds. If not, then what's the difference between having the Galactic Stronghold label versus, I don't know, the crappy house label, the trailer park label? Like, what would be the point of that unless these houses or apartments or strongholds, whatever, I'm going to be using all sorts of terms for this, were visible to other players? This leads me to believe that players will be able to walk past your house and see, oh, that's X person's house. They were really cool. They were in subscriber early access, so they got this special title. This person didn't, or this person did this, or this person has this much stuff in their house. The Stronghold label is something that I really want to see explained as to where that will be shown, how it will be shown. Will it just be you're able to link your Galactic Stronghold label with a name of it? I don't know. This is something that we'll definitely need clarification on going forward, and I'm looking forward to getting that, because it would be really cool if you could just see a row of apartments down a building in Coruscant, and you go up another level and then another row of buildings, and you see the names on the wall. That would be really interesting and really cool to me. So, and that would go a long way to making the world feel really populated in a world where it's possible that the world may look less populated now. People may not be going on the fleet. I know that Red on the Utinicast suggested that we should have mission terminals in our Galactic Strongholds, and that's something that I don't think is a good idea. I think that works towards lessening the, if not the actual population, then the perceived population. I think that it's important to have people in the fleet bustling around, looking at vendors, looking at mission terminals, turning things in, things like that. I think that's important to conveying a sense of scale in the world. I think a big part of an MMO is feeling that you're in something larger than yourself, and seeing, 1,000 people on the fleet is important. I don't know if I've seen 1,000 people on the fleet in a while, but seeing hundreds of people on the fleet, I think, is important towards getting that sense of scale in your MMO. So I don't think we'll be seeing that, but I think we'll be seeing all sorts of other things, and much like people just hang out on their ships now, I think more players will be just hanging out in their strongholds. So I think it may be important to keep that sense of scale by making these Galactic Strongholds visible in the world, so you can see, oh, there's thousands of people here. That would be pretty cool, in my opinion. Next up, for Preferred Early Access, this is starting July 29th. they get that Stronghold label, and they get the title, but they do not get the free Nar Shaddaa Sky Palace. So, you want a free apartment in the sky, you want to subscribe by June 24th. Alright, so let's just run through the frequently asked questions, make some comments on those, and then we'll move on to the next segment. So what is the launch date for the digital expansion Galactic Strongholds? The official launch date for Galactic Strongholds has not been announced, but it is coming in August 2014. We discussed that. Stay tuned on SWTOR.com for official launch date. Subscribers gain early access. We talked about that at a Nar Shaddaa Stronghold starting June 24th. For limited time subscribers, as of May 11th, will receive 3 additional already unlocked rooms from the Nar Shaddaa Stronghold, which is a 1.5 million credit value. So that's pretty cool. Don't just subscribe by June 24th, subscribe by May 11th if you really want to get the sexy house. Subscribers can gain access to the strongholds on Coruscant and Dromund Kaas. Preferred players can gain early access beginning on July 29th, and they will be able to access strongholds on Coruscant and Dromund Kaas. Preferred players will not be able to gain access on Nar Shaddaa. That doesn't really make sense to me. Nar Shaddaa seems like the slummy planet, so I think that the slums of the preferred players, those dirty preferred players, get them out of my game. Just kidding, guys. Should only be allowed to have a house on Nar Shaddaa. But this is where they're going. You won't be able to get on Nar Shaddaa without being a subscriber, which is interesting. I wonder what happens if you unsub after getting the Nar Shaddaa Stronghold. Unsure about that. And then finally, free-to-play players will gain access to Galactic Strongholds in August, with the ability to gain access to Strongholds on Coruscant, Dromund Kaas, and Nar Shaddaa. What? My bad, I read that last sentence wrong. Preferred players will not gain access to the Nar Shaddaa Stronghold until the launch in August 2014. So they will eventually be able to get to Nar Shaddaa, just not to launch with the free-to-play players. Okay, sorry about that. Rant over. Stupid of me. My bad. Next up, we discuss the early access period. This is a free-to-play digital expansion, so you don't have to pay any additional money. Just be a subscriber and you get that early access bonus. Good stuff. Question 4 is a big one. Can my guild fight other guilds in space PvP? We discussed this already, but no, you will not be able to do guild flagship PvP yet. Maybe in the future, at some point, but not yet. How will I gain ownership to a personal stronghold in-game? You'll be able to purchase ownership of the personal stronghold with credits you earn in-game, or with cartel coins on the cartel market. For a limited time, subscribers as of May 11th will receive a complimentary unlock of the Nar Shaddaa Stronghold, 3 additional rooms, yada yada yada. Discuss that. Question 6. How will I be able to collect furniture and decorations for in-game? You will earn a set of starter decorations when you purchase your first stronghold. Many decorations will be available on existing vendors throughout the game as new rewards for reputation, PvP, crew skills, and more. Crew skills, big one. They're adding more stuff to the crew skill system, which I personally hate the crew skill system. I wouldn't mind if they just got rid of it. It's not a big deal to me. They don't support it well. Not many MMOs support it well. I could probably count on one hand, the MMOs that do crafting well. I actually did a whole episode on this a long time ago. How I just think the crew skill system is just outdated and not really worth anything. But that goes besides the point. They're adding stuff to the crew skill system, which is nice, I guess. And then some of these decorations will be available for credits and other currencies. Read cartel coins. I added that part that's not actually in there. And many will require components created by crafters. Decorations can be attained as loot drops from flashpoints and operations. Very cool. We can get a big Rancor head on my mount, my mantelpiece. That would be nice. On my mount. I could use a big Rancor head on my mount too. That'd be cool. Anyway, so they're adding stuff for endgame players, and then finally a variety of unique decorations can be purchased with cartel coins on the cartel market. Yes, we all could have seen that coming a mile away. And then a nice little added bonus here. I don't know how this relates to Galactic Starfighter housing. Galactic Starfighter. See, this is what you're doing to me, BioWare. Change the damn acronym. If you are a subscriber on April 2nd, you will receive a 500 cartel coin bonus, so extra on top of your subscription. And then if you're a subscriber as of May 4th, you'll get 1,000 bonus cartel coins. So these are kind of incentives to keep you subscribed in the meantime until we get the new expansion. All in all, some pretty cool looking stuff there. I'm excited to finally have have a house in game. Are you excited to have a house in game? I know some people I've seen are very unenthused by this announcement. And I was going to talk about the PvP forum post, but maybe I'll save that till next week. That'll be one of the things that I break out till next week. I want to keep talking about Galactic Strongholds. After the segment, I want to talk about why I'm excited about Galactic I'm going to talk about why I'm excited for Galactic Strongholds, why you may not be, and why that's okay. All that after the break. So as I said, I was going to use this segment to talk about the PvP questions and answers, and the assassin changes, actually. But instead, I'm going to continue talking about God damn! Keep doing it. Galactic Strongholds. Houses. I'm going to keep talking about houses. I've seen a lot of players who have gone on the forums, or on the SWTOR subreddit, or on Twitter, saying, why do people care about housing? I don't care about housing. Like, it doesn't matter. Well, I think, first of all, I think Galactic's housing. I think housing is... I'm going to keep doing that until the end of time, and you can keep making fun of me for it. I'm going to keep mixing them up. Houses. I think houses are a very love it or hate it thing. I think if you're going to love Galactic Strongholds, the Housing Initiative, that's what it should be called. It should be called Housing Initiative. I think if you are already on board with the Housing Initiative, I think you're going to be happy. You'd love it. I think if you're against the Housing Initiative, I don't think there's anything that the other side can do to sway you to make you like it. I think this is a personal taste thing, but I think it's a big personal taste thing, and let me tell you why. If you look at big, like, mega hits with the general public, it isn't necessarily the greatest gaming experience. It isn't necessarily the craziest and most innovative system in the world. And three games that come to mind almost immediately when I see housing are The Sims, Animal Crossing, and Farmville. All three of these games are mega hits with non-gamers even. And I think that's a big thing for SWTOR, both the non-gamer part and the mega hit part. And I'll tell you why. First off, the non-gamer part. A big criticism of SWTOR that I saw when it first came out, and I think this is a valid complaint, was that Star Wars The Old Republic was going to be the first MMO for a lot of people. A lot of older Star Wars fans, or just Star Wars fans who aren't involved in MMOs generally, were going to be willing to try Star Wars The Old Republic because it just said Star Wars in the name. Well, SWTOR may have missed the boat on a lot of those people. I think that's still important to make Star Wars The Old Republic more than just your average MMO, more than just your old style of theme park MMO. I think adding more things for players to do, especially things that look like other things that they like. A lot of these players may love Farmville, love The Sims, love Animal Crossing, things like that. So if you get them in game and show them, we have that too, we have something interesting and cool you can do in the Star Wars universe, so you can have a house in your Star Wars universe. Even non-role players, I think, would love the chance to live in the Star Wars universe. So why not give them the ability to? And then secondarily, these games are also big with gamers in general. I still remember using the Rosebud sheet over and over to make the biggest mansion I could, and then I just ended up drowning my sim. I love Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is a great game. Farmville? Okay, maybe not. Maybe 2 for 3 ain't bad. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Did Billy Joel say that? 2 out of 3 ain't bad? So, 2 out of 3 ain't bad here. And many people just go straight to the money. Say, this is going to make a lot of money for BioWare, so that's why they're doing it. And that's why it's good for the game. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think BioWare... Well, I do agree that this will make a lot of money for BioWare. But I think that BioWare will figure out a way to make a lot of money no matter what they do. They'll figure out a new mount that everyone will buy. They'll figure out something cool that you can, I don't know, like purple sparkle platter. And something that they could sell for cartel coins at a very inflated rate for what it costs them and make a lot of money doing it. I think that no matter what initiative they did, if they did housing, if they did space world PvP or something crazy like that. They'll figure out a way to monetize it, and they'll be making money off of it. I don't think that's a problem that we have to worry about. And I don't think the fact that they're making more money means that we're going to be getting more content, better content, faster content. I just don't think that's how it is. I think that BioWare's release rate, BioWare's dev team is what it is for now. I don't think it's going up anytime soon. I don't think it's going down anytime soon, though. So I think we're getting what we're getting. So I don't think that any big influx of money is going to increase the size of the team, increase the speed of the team, increase the skill of the team. I don't think that's happening. So the people out there who are saying, oh, this is great because we'll get more raids faster, and we'll get more PvP ranked seasons, and we'll get more crazy rewards for doing these things, we get world PvP. I think those people are misguided. But where I do see this is important, in the fact that it keeps players in the game, which is a huge thing for the community. Players in the game will play the game. So if you're in your house and you're trying to figure out the exact right spot to put your couch, the exact right spot to put your bed, then maybe you're queuing for Galactic Starfighter in the meantime, queuing for PvP in the meantime. Oh, I'll just break things up with a Hutball match here. Crazy idea here for my wall of crazy. What if we could watch Hutball on TVs in your, or not TVs, on hollow TVs in your Stronghold? That'd be cool, right? But anyway, end aside. Players who are just fiddling around with their house will increase the queue times on PvP, increase the queue times on ranked PvP, increase the queue times on flashpoints. It'll make it easier to form a group. If you can keep players in your game always, fiddling around with their house, maybe they can get their friends into the game. If you're constantly fiddling around with your house, playing dolls with your Galactic Stronghold, then maybe you can get your non-SWTOR playing friends in too. They see that you're always playing this, there must be something to it. You're always, fiddling around with your house, and they love Animal Crossing, so why not try it in Star Wars? If it's cool and there's other things to do in the meantime, then why not try it out? It's free to play, so just get right in there. And then those players could slowly trickle into the other aspects of the game that only helps other players. You get more players in guilds. You get that sense of size and scale that I was talking about, the hundreds and thousands of players around you. Only good things can come of getting your players in the game and keeping them in the game, keeping them invested. Right now, all I do when I log into the game is I log in, set my crew skills, log out. Log in, set my crew skills, log out. If I'm not raiding, if I'm not actively doing some Galactic Starfighter or PvP, if I don't want to do those things, I have no reason to idle in the game, really. It used to be that I was big in running in circles in SWTOR. Well, in every MMO, I used to run in Ironforge constantly. Ironforge was my hangout back in the day. And it was perfect for running in circles, because it's just a big giant circle. Just like the fleet. It's pretty much the fleet. Ironforge is the fleet. There we go. Glad I finally realized that. But if I had a reason to get in there and, play around with my house, maybe play a game of Sabacc on my Sabacc table, play a game of Hollow Chess on my Hollow Chess table, get in there, fiddle around with things, move a painting from here to there, maybe recolor this room or that room, then I'm going to be more apt to, hey, I'm in game already, why not just queue for PvP, see if I can get my daily done real quick. Why don't I get in there and try and get my Galactic Starfighter daily done real quick. And it's especially awesome because it's legacy-wide, because I can do it on any character that I want. Hey, I want to be doing a little PvP right now, but I also want to be playing around with my house, so I don't need to be on my non-PvP character, which is my main, to do that. I can get on my PvP character and just fiddle around with the house, play around with things while I'm in queue. While I'm in queue for Galactic Starfighter, I can get on my lobby character, get into my stronghold and play around with things. I can be moving around my legacy stuff in the meantime. Say I'm on my PvP character and I want to set up my other character to start doing PvP. I can get all that armor, rip out the mods and stuff, just throw it in my legacy bank, all while still in queue, queuing for PvP. These are all the benefits that I see to keeping players in the game and keeping players invested and just logged into the client. That's an important thing. If players are in there, then they're playing the game. And if people are playing the game, then they're helping out other players who are trying to play the game. So queue time's faster. More guildies online to talk to, hang out with. That's important for the social players. Players want to see a guild with 15, 20 people in it at all times. No one wants to be in the guild that there are 1 or 2 people on a line at a time. So getting more players in the game helps with that. It's just important to have players in the game, and not necessarily for those players to be spending money. I know the cynic in everyone just says Bioware does everything for the money. Well, A, most companies do a lot of things for the money. But B, I don't think this is necessarily a money grab, because there are many other egregious money grabs that they can do. I think this is a time grab. This is trying to get people's time invested in the game, so they're stuck there. They're in there already, so why not play the game while they're there? So that's what I see with the Galactic. I did it again. The housing initiative. That's what I see with the housing initiative. That will be good for the game, good for everyone. So even if you don't like the housing, and that's fine. I don't think it's for everyone. There are going to be people out there who dislike housing, and that's fine. Well, I mean, if you dislike housing, I don't really see how you could dislike housing. Maybe you can dislike that they chose to do housing over something else. But if housing doesn't necessarily enthuse you just by the idea of housing, then the idea surrounding housing should enthuse you. And that's the only thing that I think could sway players to being happy with the Galactic Strongholds expansion if they aren't necessarily one to do the housing. So that's what I think. What do you think? As always, you can email me at gadicteague@gadicgaming.com with your ideas. And then one quick note, I got a nice email from Hagu Pally, who also emailed the Utinacast. They discussed it on this week's show as well. And he asks, will you be able to craft items for our houses in June? That is confirmed, yes. In my opinion, item schematics should employ items that are in low demand, hypercloth, reinforced transsteel, or even where supply exceeds demand, so like the slicing items. And yes, Hago, I definitely think that they should have schematics that use these hypercloth, and I feel like they should use them in super high quantities, like 50 or 100 or 200 hypercloth to make one thing. Because I think that in order to make crafting interesting, you need to make a market of scarcity. You have to make things difficult to do. You can't just make everything easy. So if you add these recipes in, just like all the other recipes in the game, then everyone and their mother buys a couch for 100 credits, buys a bed for 100 credits. All the things that the crafters make will be bought very cheaply, and then that hurts all the crafters. There's no point to it. There's no reason to be crafting them, because everyone else has made them already. Everyone has them already. So that's kind of what you're seeing with the dyes now. The craftable dyes are pretty much junk. The only reason that those are useful is the fact that, not useful, but somewhat scarce, is the fact that you need the level 2 or 3, the lower level components to craft them, which I think is a stupid idea. I think you need to use the current tier crafting materials, but in very high quantities to use up that excess in order to make a scarcity on these items. So thank you very much for the email, Hagu. As always, you can email me your ideas to gadicteague@gadicgaming.com. So feel free to do that if you have any comments or questions or concerns regarding the housing topic discussed this week. And with that, it's time for the Wall of Crazy. What? That's impossible even for a computer! It's not impossible. I used to bullseye womp rats in my T16 back home. They're not much bigger than 2 meters. And for this week's Wall of Crazy topic, I asked on Twitter for players to give me ideas for other features that they want now that Galactic housing and capital shifts have been confirmed. I'm just going to read off a couple of these that I like a lot, and then we're going to finish up the show. First up from Justin Sinudo at JSinudo. He says, entertainers who give buffs. I think that's interesting. I guess that was in Star Wars Galaxies because he hashtagged it SWG. And that would kind of be like a Bard class, I guess, in Rift. So, cool. I think new class would be interesting. I don't think we'll ever see it, but Wall of Crazy topic. That's why it's there. Next up, Phoenix at Druid's Fire. Open world space flight. Obviously, this is something that players would like. I don't know if it could be done within the Star Wars engine. I don't think the game is really set up this way. I don't think the planets could be put in like a galaxy for you to fly to. And I feel like that's what players really want to do. They want to be able to fly directly from planet to planet and encounter people on the way. I don't think that's something that's feasible, but it's definitely interesting, and that's why it's for the Wall of Crazy, so thank you, Phoenix. Gamer Lady at gamer_lady. Companions teasing each other and being funny on your ship in your house. Love interest sending you the occasional letter. This is something that I definitely agree with. I think that now 2 years into the game's development, the companions have been a little stagnant. I just feel like there need to be more canned animations, I guess, on the ship. There should be times when Companion X is just in conversation with Companion Y. They're sitting down at a table. Say if on the trooper ship, the Bodar is sitting down with Gus to play some holo chess. You see Risha and Kavi fighting or something. I think that they need to spice up the world a little bit more. I figure that they just can't add dialogue just because that's expensive and time-consuming and difficult, so without dialogue, I think there are just things that they could do. Set them up in canned animations. Because right now it's kind of bland and boring that you see the companions pretty much in the same spots every time. You see them working over the table, you see them sitting in the quarters, just standing there. And I think more movement, more liveliness is important, especially with housing coming up. So thank you at GamerLady for coming up with that one. And that'll about do it for today's show. Let's wrap things up here. Last week I asked you to discuss what restrictions do you think should be removed from free-to-play players, and the winner of the Taunfaun this week was Buckeye at SWTOR Buckeye. So congratulations. Check your Twitter-ness. If you want to win a Taunfaun, please remember to follow me so that I can direct message you your Taunfaun. I don't want to just tweet it out there and let anyone steal your Taunfaun while I was trying to get to you. So make sure you follow me so I can send you the code. Next week, if you would like to win a Taunfaun, the question is easy. What is the name of your favorite Hutball team? I'm asking you to be a little bit creative here. Come up with a cool Hutball team name for SWTOR. And I just don't want to see Frog Dogs and Rotworms, Mr. Boring. Come up with something interesting. So all you gotta do is tweet at GT, the hashtag Taunfaun, for your chance to win. Next up in non-SWTOR news here, you may have been noticing on Twitter, I've been really pushing a game called Boot Hill Heroes. This is a game that I kickstarted a long time ago. It was actually the first game that I ever kickstarted. It made, I think it was $18,000 was what it eventually made, so it's not one of those huge hundreds of thousands of dollars big projects. It's a little guy, it's a two-man team working hard to get this 16-bit RPG out there. If you're a fan of Earthbound or Chrono Trigger or Final Fantasy on the SNES, then you're going to love this game. It's set in a Western setting with the kind of art style and humor that you find in Earthbound. It's a ton of fun. I've played it. You can check out my YouTube page that I have a video of it. But I've also provided a link to the Greenlight page for Boot Hill Heroes. Right now they're having trouble getting on Steam. They were going well, and then all of a sudden things kind of petered out. They got to like 75%, I think they said. And if you've been following any gaming journalism, a ton of websites have been talking about how Greenlight is kind of a farce, how the Steam page is just becoming a real crapshoot and stuff is getting held out for no reason. So I think this is a game that definitely deserves to be on Steam. Like it or not, Steam is an important place for little guys to get exposure with the big guys, and I think that this game really needs to be on there. I was looking at the last 75 games that were greenlit on Steam. If Boner Town Maximum Hardness Edition can make it onto Steam, I'm not kidding. That's the name of a game that got through the Greenlight system. How the hell is Boot Hill Heroes not on there? Get this game greenlit, guys. Come on, go vote. Even if you have no intention of playing this game, these guys deserve to be on Steam. Just come on, click the link. All you gotta do is hit yes that you would play the game, and bam, we can help these guys out. They deserve all the help that they can get. So, go ahead and do that. Back to SWTOR stuff. As always, if you'd like to contact me, send questions, comments, concerns to gaddockteague@gaddockgaming.com, or you can tweet them to @gteague on Twitter. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes to get your weekly podcast updates, and if you're new to the game or thinking of resubscribing, I provided my refer friend link in the show notes, so if you'd like a little added incentive to come back, feel free to use it. You can also check out the website, gaddockgaming.com, where I post the podcast, videos, musings, as well as I've posted a video of Boot Hill Heroes, a first look preview of Boot Hill Heroes. So if you want to see what the game is before you vote yes, I don't blame you for that. Just check out the video. It's on my website from my YouTube page, and you can see what it's all about. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Unnamed SWTOR Podcast. This is JD, signing off.